Hey, Callum.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing? You're looking so happy. What happened?
Well, I'm looking what?
You're looking very happy. What happened?
Yeah, I have to be happy, because I didn't expect the result, but I got it. So,
Many, many
and
congratulations for PMP exam preparation and success, and you passed exam with above target. I'm really happy for your
oh,
success.
thank you.
Great.
Yeah, thank you.
When you texted me about the time management problem, I got a little
Yeah,
worried. I was
yeah,
like,
me too.
you worked really hard. You
Yeah,
attempted all the mock exams. You've gone through the book, and you were there in weekly Q&A sessions. I think you're
yeah,
one of those students who attended almost all weekly sessions without skipping anything.
yeah,
So I was a little bit worried, like, oh my God, time management shouldn't be an issue because in every session I was warning 80,
yeah,
75, 75. Look at the
yeah. I
clock.
remember.
All right, all right. Thank you so
Anyway,
much,
so
Callum, for your time. And this session would be really helpful for people who would be watching. So we will be discussing some lessons learned. So let's start with your brief introduction. Where are you from and what do you do?
okay, I'm in Melbourne, originally from Sri Lanka, and I've been here for about last 15 years. And I just started my career like an engineer here, and then operations manager, and then move on to sales. And I've been working in sales a few different countries, and this is my fifth country in Australia. And I did my Six Sigma Black Belt and a Masters in Engineering, and then I just thought of stepping into PMP as well, so project management, just to have an overall knowledge about because my goal was to be a CEO in one of the multinational companies in Australia. That's my goal. So then that's why I'm just gathering all the qualifications together with the experience. And yeah, so then I joined this PMP course, and then I met you, fortunately. So that was really good. And then, yeah, I'm here now.
Right, all right. I'm impressed with your goal. I like it. So quite high, but I'm sure with dedication and commitment, right, you can achieve anything. So
Yeah, that's right.
all right. So let's talk about your exam preparation strategy. Uh, what exactly you did? How did you pass the exam?
Um, Actually, I joined your class in September 23, but after that, because I was busy with my work and some other stuff's going on here, so I couldn't get into the textbook till January or so. I remember you sent me a text saying, "Hi, Callum, how you're doing with the exam? How's the preparation going?" and blah blah blah. So then I was then it triggered me. Oh my goodness, yes, I didn't even touch the books. In January, I set up like a rough estimate, the rough goal to get to sit for the exam in March. In March, I think I told you in the text. So then. Because I'm working full time and I'm running my own business, so I'm really busy, to be honest. Uh, so yeah, then what I was just thinking, how can I prepare myself? So then what I did was I just went through your lecture notes first, and the 4 days you gave us, and then I went through, and then then after that I just did few. I didn't start doing straight away that the MCQs you send us that the 100 in
Yeah.
each section thing. So I just did few of like 10 MCQs like in YouTube. So when I see, then I was thinking I was not really prepared. I think you may remember that the first MCQ session I joined you. and you were talking about the scrum of the scrum, and I was like, seriously, where are these things that are probably you remember I sent you a text saying that is this our course or not? I was really surprised because I might have missed that whole section. Then you said, yeah, this is PMP. Then I was thinking myself, oh my goodness, so there are a lot to study. So I then I start reading a bit of that PM book 6 edition, and then I went through like a glance that Rita's book, and I think that's a bit of a I really didn't I
Like
was
that.
not happy with yeah, I didn't like it. So because it's like structured wise, I was thinking like PM book 6 was well structured, and probably that's because of my that and I'm an engineer, you know, so as
Yeah.
you know, I just get under that proper schedule thing, and then I start reading that book, and then I highlighted, underlined, and I did everything in the PDF. And uh, I just because as I said, I was like 2 hours a day or something like that. I just went through, and then when it close to the exam, like 3 weeks or so, I started doing that MCQs that I have risk management 100 and things like that. And then I used to do like 20 a day, things like that. And then I was getting probably 13, 15 right answers and 5, 6 always wrong. And then I went through the why, and then I went back to your lecture notes, and then the book as well. Anyway, so little by little I was improving myself, because when I went through that explanations of the questions and the answers, I learned a lot, you know. So that's because I know that I went through the theories, but the theory and application is, you know, that's an art of, you know, so how to manage the theory into the correct application. So even though we know what theory is, it's a bit hard to put into action in the exam. So I realized that, because as far as the theory is concerned, I was like 80, 85% I was really good in theory. But when it comes to the application, it's like quadruples, you know,
Yeah.
in everything look similar. So then we have to analyze, we have to read the question, and then that important words and phrases, then we have to just inculcate into that. And then when it comes to questions, so we have to analyze again, and elimination technique. So really it takes about 2 3 minutes to analyze initially. So to do about 20 questions, so it take about, you know, so more than 1 hour, sometimes 2 hours or so. So, and then, yeah, little by little improving. Then after that, as you said, to take at least 1 week off. Uh, I got it seriously. I thought, oh, yeah, because I've been doing part time, as I said, you know, with the business, and so it was really tough. So I said, okay, now I have to do this. So this is one of my career milestones. So then, because Amma said that, so there should be a reason behind it. So then I took 1 week before then off from the work and then everything. And yeah, then I again regularly join your sessions as well, questions and answers, and then did those MCQs. So anyway, so that's I was really very confident. The last 3 or 4 question sessions, and I got about 8 average. So I was thinking, okay, now I'm ready. So then I just did the exam on Sunday, and Saturday and Friday I was really not doing anything. And my wife's asking, what? Because you got an exam in 2 days, and you know, why? I said, no, no, don't worry. I know I'm ready. So that's because actually, seriously, I was very confident to get the exam. So yeah, that's how I did my preparation stuff.
Great, great. Thank you for detailed explanation. So if I summarize, you attended my 4 days long course, then
Yeah,
you read Product Management Body of Knowledge Guide, 6th edition, and then
yeah,
installed my mock exams around 1,500 to 2,000.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
then you attended my weekly Q&A session. So
That's right.
were the four resources that you used. All right. And you also, I had also shared, I think, my notes, my concise notes with you, if you recall.
Yeah, yeah, you did. Yes.
Were those helpful?
Yeah, of course, because to be honest, I had a look at those concise notes at the end. So then when I go through, because I did all the highlighting and the underlying and everything in the book six, So then when I was going through your lecture notes, then that book came to my mind with the colors and everything, underlying parts, and then that was really a really concise and like a booklet type thing. So that really refreshes my mind when I went through yours. And some, I mean, a few the last like the salience model and things. Then I was really not very confident about that. So then when I saw your note, oh my goodness, salience model is something else. Then I picked few things from there as well, and then again went back to the book, and then yeah, that really reminded what I have missed and then what I'm good at, and then things like this. And it's like a sort of a benchmark and good comparison and the refreshment for the knowledge.
All right. This is what I say, like, while you're attending the course, take your own notes, right? Notes are very
Yeah,
important. And
yeah,
then
yeah, of
if
course.
you have my notes, then it covers 100% of the exam content. So for example,
Yeah,
these are the notes,
yeah,
lesson by lesson. They look very precise, but they are not. They cover 100% of the exam content, and they cover
yeah,
each and everything.
yeah.
Uh,
That's right.
have you seen anything that we haven't discussed in the session, or not in the course, or not in the QA that you saw in the exam?
Actually, no, no, nothing, because this little I think 6 pages or something in
Yeah.
this the booklet, and that was really helpful. As you said, it's very concise document. But if we in my point of view, I we have to go in detail either in your lecture notes or book or Rita's book or whatever the textbook we just go through, and we have to read it and get to good understanding and why and how and when we can apply. Then once we have a good understanding, when we look at this thing, and then it really takes us through the lecture notes. And then because as I did the underlying and highlighting and things, as I said. So it really reminded, okay, this is where this is how it is. And then this, like, it's like a split of a second, it takes us to where the lecture note is, and then it reminds us, okay, this is how it is. That's really, really helpful for me. Really good stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this I have heard from all the students who are passing the exam. They are saying like this is a tool that is really, really helping, especially during the last day when they are about to revise the content. They just look at
Mm.
it and they cover 100% of the content. All right. One more important question, Callum, that I'm really interested in asking. You attended almost all of my weekly Q&A session that we conduct on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday Eastern Standard
Yeah,
Time, PMEST. What do
yeah.
you think? Were those helpful in exam preparation, and what was the relevance of those mock exams with the real exam in terms of
Okay.
language, in terms of preparation, difficulty level, and what's your understanding?
Uh, when I went through the examination, then the questions I went through in your question and answer session, I think, let's for example, if the complexity is 60% for the exam, now your questions are somewhere around 75, 80, or something like that. So then if we are ready with that 80% complexity level, so then 60% is going to be very, very easy. So that's what I was very confident, because you said that this is bit above the complexity to the exam. And when I did your 10 questions, then if I get 8 roughly out of 10, then I was like, okay, so I'm ready. So that's how I measured myself. So, and the other thing is your questions, like if somebody goes through the YouTube, there are some other questions and answers as well. So they're like like if you are doing masters, like bachelor stuff, you know. So if somebody does only that, in my point of view, if we do only the other stuff, so, yeah, we take very easy. You know, we think like it's easy, but your one is a bit higher than the standard. So then, if you are ready with that, definitely we are ready with the exam. So I took that experience, and that MCQs, that the 1,500 or 2,000, that's also bit lower than the standard to what your questions are. So and you, the other thing is, you are like, you pointing the very precise points in the context, you know. So then, if when I go through, you know, initially I got probably about 5 out of 10, something like that. So then when I see why I went wrong the 5 questions, then very like, sometimes very silly mistakes, you know. Then I was, oh, seriously, why I got this wrong, you know. I knew the answer, but application is different. So when you explain, okay, this is why, this is why, this is how, then I was, okay. So then that goes to my mind, and I think your questions standard is a bit higher, and then it addresses the more important areas, and that really takes us through, because little stuff we catch anyway, or probably because, you know, they are not kids, you know. So most of people, they are adults who are doing this PMP. So it doesn't matter, regardless the field, they have come across like common sense stuff. But your ones are not like common sense stuff. You're addressing the like technical stuff in the PMP. So if you know that, so the common sense stuff are really easy. That's what I see your questions.
Absolutely. When we make question, Callum, the one of the consideration is not just the exam, it is something students should learn from it for practical application. That's why
Yeah,
those questions are a little bit difficult, because
yeah,
they
yeah,
test the practicalities, how actually you perform things. So as a Scrum
yeah,
Master, how you would be doing things, how would you be responding to that situation? So they actually test the practicalities. And almost, we have sat Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 3 sessions in a week.
yeah.
In order to prepare for one session, I spend around 10 to 12 hours.
Oh, really?
10 to 12 hours in just preparation, right? So
Yeah,
we develop questions, then we have a group of people, we deliberate each question, like,
yeah,
is it right? What's wrong with this question? Then it is reviewed, then it is finalized, then, it
yeah,
is presented for the students. So we follow a thorough process for those questions. And I personally, whenever I see a question I myself make, and that looks very simple and easy, I just simply exclude that. I said no.
okay.
So yes, in the exam, you
Yeah,
see questions difficult, medium level difficulty level, and easy. But in
yeah,
those mock exams, you only see difficult questions,
yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
I really want students to be challenged. And when you get less marks, you feel anxious and you go through the content, you study.
yeah,
This is what you're explaining. Like, you got 5 out
yeah,
of
yeah.
10,
That's
and
what
you were
happened
like,
to me.
yeah,
Yeah,
you were like,
yeah.
why? That's the
Yeah,
idea. One, it should test practical understanding. Second, it should challenge students. And third,
yeah,
they should be relevant to exam. They should be helpful in the exam. So yes, whoever is watching, I would strongly encourage to, go through those videos. Those are really, really helpful. In last 2 months, we have conducted almost 25 sessions, almost
yeah,
250 sessions. Those are
yeah,
extremely valuable for the exam. So my
yeah,
course, notes, and those PMP Q&A sessions, if you have those, I think you shouldn't be worried at all. I
yeah,
recommend go through one book at least, whether it is PMBOK guide. When I did PMP, I think it was fifth edition, I guess, but I was really impressed with PMBOK sixth edition, because I have
yeah.
that technical mindset, very
That's
process
right.
oriented, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
I understand that, and then all the processes are in my mind and everything. I really
yeah,
love that. But
yeah,
those students who don't have that technical background, for them, I would recommend uh, at least review Rita book. That is really, really
yeah,
helpful. You can choose.
yeah,
read at
Yeah,
least one book, go through my mock exams, and just, pass the exam.
yeah, that's
All right.
true.
Callum, if I ask you how much time you actually spent in preparation in terms of hours or days or months. So, for example, if somebody wants to prepare for the exam, so what's the timeline one should keep in mind?
Um, I think at least we have to spend 2 hours a day minimum. I was really busy for, as I said, I was running my business and then doing a full time working as a manufacturing engineer. So then it's not easy to allocate sometimes, but still, I think we have to let the people, like, this is not easy, so we have to be thorough in theory and the practicality as well. So then if somebody, there may be some people who can just do that in 10-15 days, but I think it's better to have at least 45 days or something like that just for the preparation. And if for a person like me, I'm very busy, but if somebody can spend about 3 to 4 hours a day, so then that's okay. But my point is at least 1 to 2 months, for the preparation. But and that's like thorough preparation. We have to take it seriously, and then we have to do our notes, like whatever the way prefer. So then we have to do it, underlining. I'm pretty much underlining and highlighting, and then some people, they just copy paste and they prepare their own notes, but I'm not that, so doesn't matter what the way is, but I think we have to get into that theory and the application so very well. So regardless of time, if we are confident, okay, now we can go and sit for the exam with the confidence level, I think till then we have to do our preparation.
All right,
So
absolutely. If you don't have project management background, then 45 days, 50 days, and up to 2 months, 2 hours a day, that is,
yeah,
good enough time. But if you
that's
have
right.
a project management background, so for example, some of my students, they pass exam in 5 days, in 10 days, in 15 days,
Yeah, I've
because
seen.
they have extensive project management background, right? So for
Yeah,
example, one of the student, she has been working in project management for last 20 years. She
right.
attempted the exam second day after she completed the course and she passed it. So
Okay.
yeah, it varies. Yesterday,
Yeah,
I think Smita passed exam. She studied for 10 to 15 days because she was also she has been working in project management for the last 20 years. So yes,
yeah,
experience really matters. If you are experienced in project management, this exam would be relatively easier. But if you're
yes,
new, then you need to spend 45 days. So yes, 80 to 90 hours of dedicated studies are required to
yeah,
pass the exam. Okay.
yeah, that's true.
Uh, what about time management during the test? What happened? I'm interested in knowing that.
That's right. So I okay, only one thing I didn't do, I thoroughly recommend don't do that. I didn't do mock exams, seriously. Well, I didn't have time, and my confidence level was so high, so I really didn't. I thought, okay, now I can do it. But that's the serious, like very dangerous mistake I did. Because the thing is, I when I did my first 60 questions, and I was like, okay, reading very well, and then like comprehending the question, what asked and what are the main points, and then question the answers, four answers, and again read the question and what asked and what I just tried to digest the question. I took a time. Then when I finished my first 60 questions, and then it says, okay, with that optional break. And then I said, okay, because they highly recommended go for the break. Then I said, okay, I'm going to take the break. And then I, remaining time, 105 minutes. And I got another 120 questions to go.
So
Then
you spent around 125 minutes for first
125
60
for
questions.
the
Oh my God.
yeah. So then I was like starting a bit anxious about it, but I thought, nah, okay. So first six, because I'm very confident. Like out of 60, I got minimum 57 correct. I'm very confident. But I took the time, I analyzed the question, and then seriously, that's confidence I had. So I thought, okay, so that's all right. I got another 105 questions, 105 minutes for 120 questions. Then I took my 10 minutes break and came back. Then I was just bit speeding the reading and then doing the questions. And but anyhow, after the second 60 questions, no, first the second like in second phase, 40 questions gone. Then I realized, okay, I got about 55 minutes for another 80 questions.
Oh my God.
Then I was like shivering, and then nothing going to my mind. And so I was rushing through the questions. And then anyway, I finished the other 20 questions in second 60. Second 60 completed. I got 41 minutes left for the next 60 questions. And then I was like, I couldn't do anything. I was really worried, and then I was like shivering, and then I was thinking because I knew that I did only 100 questions very carefully, but other 20 questions in previous 60, it was really not like rushing through. And then I thought, okay, so next I got another 40 minutes for the 60 questions. All right, do it right. And then after the second break, I just start doing that. But for about another 2-3 minutes, nothing goes to my mind. Then I was really not set for the exam. So then I was calculating. Okay, I got 58 correct in the first 60, and then something like that. I was just in my mind, I'm calculating how many I have to pass the exam. And then okay, so I thought another 60 I get another 30 minutes to read and do the question very carefully, and then I want to at least get 25 correct out of those 30. So that's my goal was. Then but I was speeding up, but I was doing it right. So then last probably 20 questions, I got about I don't know, probably 7 minutes or 10 minutes. Then what I did was, that explanation on the top of the question. I didn't have time to read. What I did was, what the question asked, is it the what does the project manager do next? What's the best action, or what's the most suitable? That's what I read, not the top. And then I got from the explanation whether it's the risk management, schedule management, or cost management. That's the only thing I got it. Okay, then what does the project manager do next? And then just going through the answers. Then with my knowledge, okay, this is just elimination technique, and then just doing that. Last 15 questions, then I get about 5 minutes left, and I was just doing through, and I could manage only 175 questions, and then time out.
So you didn't answer 5 questions.
No, I didn't have time. So there's just 175 questions, and out of 175, then last 15 is like I don't know, 1, 2, 3, boom, boom.
Right.
For those who are going to do the exam, I thoroughly recommend do at least 2, 3 mock exams, because it doesn't matter how confident you are. The time management is very important, and fortunately, I passed the exam. So, but I highly recommend don't do it again. I mean, just do the mock exams and get yourself. And at least about what I'm just thinking, that I didn't think that I passed the exam. So then at that Sunday night, I just did another 40 questions with timing. And just to make myself, prepare for. I was thinking about, okay, if I fail the exam, then I'm gonna reschedule in about 2 weeks time. So I'm gonna prepare myself for the timing. So then I did 40 questions at that night after the exam as well. But fortunately, next day I got the email saying that congratulations. I was like, oh my gosh.
You're
So
quite lucky, and this is what I say. spend maximum 80 minutes on first 60 questions.
Yes,
And
yes, yes.
75 minutes maximum on session 2, and then 75 minutes for session 3. This is how you distribute your work. And if you
Yeah,
do that, then you are able to manage the time. So yes, you're quite lucky. Actually, the time that you spent on session 1, that really helped you to score
yeah,
good
that's
in
true.
first session, right? So yes, it was a trade-off, but actually that helped you in the end. But I strongly encourage students to, when you do mock exams, especially the full test, my 180 questions, then at least time them, do timed
Yeah,
quizzes, right?
yeah,
See how much time you're spending on these questions. So that would be
yeah,
really helpful. So time management
yeah.
is really very, very important from exam perspective. Couple of my students, they struggled last week in when it comes to time management. So now I'm
Yeah.
emphasizing a lot on time management, and this is very important. And one thing, Callum could only do 175 questions. So there might be a question that comes to your mind: what's the passing criteria? So PMI officially does not publish any passing criteria, but based on my experience and experience of hundreds of PMPs, it's around 70%. If you
Yeah,
are
yeah, yeah,
scoring around 70% means you are on the safer side. Anything
yeah,
less than 70% is problematic. Then you need to
yeah,
read, you need to spend more time in preparation. So yes,
yeah,
absolutely. All right. So
yeah.
did you see any question in which you had to do some mathematics or calculations?
No, really, I didn't get any questions from mathematics. As far as I remember, from the cost management, like the schedule variance questions, probably by one or two, and but I was expecting few mathematic questions in the cost management as well, but I didn't get any, so none.
All right. So no question was from calculation.
Yeah.
So did you see any drag and drop type questions?
Yeah, I got three or four of them, and that five at the left and five at the right, and just to drag and place. So there's three questions, drag and drop.
All right. And did you use any specific technique while reading the question? So, for example, some students, what they do, they read the question thoroughly, then they read the options. Some, they just skim through the question for the first time, then they go through again in a detailed manner. So, did you use any specific method, or how did you do that?
Yeah, as I said, first 60 question, I read everything and I digested the question and the answers, and then I thoroughly analyzed. So I did. But when it comes to the second, the second half of probably last 20 question in second, and also the pretty much 60 question in third, what I did was, I remember that you in your few of your the question and answers, you said if there are words like all, every, 100%, that's sort of it. We have to think twice. We can't. I remember you said that we can't invite all the stakeholders.
Yeah.
So things like that, we can't get rid of all the question, all the impediments.
Yeah.
I I thoroughly understood that. So then when I was going through the question, the answer choices, so if I found like all, every, 100%, like that holistic thing, I for my third half, third 60, then I straight away just rejected that. I think that really worked with me because logically we can't invite all the stakeholders. We can't get rid of 100% impediments. That's we can't do it. So that's one of the tricks I used selecting that elimination technique. And I when I was reading the question, uh, I analyzed, okay, which phase this is in, with this is initial planning or execution, whatever it is. And then another one I thoroughly understood, try to understand that whether that is something is a anticipate or assume or that sort of question, or it's really done, it has happened. Because I got few questions wrong in your question and answers. That it is something like anticipate, the team anticipates that it will happen, but I realized that it has happened. So then the question, that answer is incorrect. If it is anticipate, different solution, and if it has happened, it's different solution. So I thoroughly understood that point as well. So when I was reading through, I pay more attention on whether it is something, assuming it's something in the future happening event, or it has happened now. So that one, and that as I said, like every that 100% that I use that elimination. And mainly I was thinking which stage the project is, because then I can apply like what's next, in for example, if risk analysis, if we're going to do the quantitative analysis, so it means qualitative done, and there are a few things done, so then we don't want to worry about it, so we can assume that it's done and dusted. So if there anything with the previous steps in the questions, I mean answers, so then we can neglect it.
Yeah.
So those are things I was concentrating on when I was reading the questions.
Absolutely. These tips and tricks are really helpful, and some are best practices, which I shared, I think, in my lessons learned
Yeah,
video as well. Like, take care of these things, be positive, be a nice
yeah,
person.
yeah,
So one of my friends, he says, when I listen to your sessions and videos, it looks like project manager is the nicest person in the team and the entire stakeholder community. Yes, it is. You
yeah,
have to be nice, you have to be positive, you have to collaborate. So yes, if you keep these tricks and tips and that mindset in your mind while you're writing the exam, that would be really helpful. So PMI mindset, PMIism, PMI perspective, PMI approach, that is really helpful in solving the exam
yeah.
question. All right, great. Callum, any tip or any advice from your side? So if somebody wants to prepare for the exam, how would you advise?
My advice is, uh, don't, I mean, as I said, there are some people with different attitudes and different abilities, capacities. We have to understand where we are now, so what sort of level we are, what sort of understanding, what sort of reading we had to, because there are some people, they can straight away one read, they just digest and everything done and dusted. But I'm not that sort of person. I had to read the book probably once or twice, then only then I just slowly, step by step, I just structurally I just put it into my mind. So then first we have to understand what sort of person we are, and then second, this is not a easy exam. We have to very logically, and we have to analyze the answer, because in proper timeline, so we can spend about 70 or 75 seconds per question.
Yeah.
Within that 70-second time frame, we had to read the question, and we had to analyze the question, we had to understand the answers, and then we had to, if you are going with the elimination technique, so then we had to figure out why it is not the right answer. So to do all of these things, we got only 70 seconds. So
Yeah.
then doesn't matter how, like, that happened to me. I was very confident about my theory knowledge, but my practicality was a bit, that's challenging in the exam. So then we have, what I suggest is to at least be be thorough about the theory, and then understand why it is, and what the applications, and there's the order of application, those theories. So we have to thoroughly understand what that is, and then we have to at least practice with the stopwatch or something, 10 questions, do 10 questions if it is like 12 minutes, something like that. So if we do 10 questions, we get 20 minutes, there's a problem. So then probably initially that may be okay, but probably in about 2-3 days to exam, so we should be able to complete 10 questions at least 11 or 12 minutes time. So because at home it's still we are in the comfortable environment. So when we are in the exam, it's going to be a bit harder with
Yeah.
the stress and things. So yeah, they read the book and then do the questions and follow this little booklet thing for the short notes. And then if you have done your short notes, just follow them as well. And then mainly do the question and answers things. And then we thoroughly understand why we are applying this theory here, why not, and then what's the best solution and things like that. So I'm just telling the finally, then this is not a hard exam, but this is not an easy exam either. So
Yeah.
if we know how to apply the theory, so it's not going to be a big drama. But otherwise, we may have to face some difficulties.
All right. Prepare well, thoroughly read, do mock
Yeah,
exam, manage your time, and you're all set. All
yeah.
right, Callum, I think we have covered almost everything. These tips and lessons learned would be really helpful for people who would be watching or who are preparing for the exam. So, Callum, thank you so much for your time. And
No worries.
once again, congratulations. I can still see
Thank you.
smiling
Yeah,
and
I really appreciate your effort. You know, if I'm really, I was talking to my wife as well. Then if you are not there, then I don't know where I'm gonna end up. So thank you very much. Really appreciate your
welcome. You're
effort.
welcome. That's my job, and this is what really students can give me in return. So when they pass the exam, so I feel like all the efforts, all the time that I have invested in, I'm getting rewarded. So thank you so much for passing the exam, letting me know, sharing knowledge. So this is what I expect in return. So once again, thank you, congratulations, and we will be
Thank
in
you.
touch.
No, no worries. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
See ya.
Take good care of yourself. Bye.
You too. See ya. Bye.